Good morning to everyone. Hope you are able to see my screen and able to listen my voice clearly. Okay. Just type yes in the chat box if you're able to see my screen and able to listen my voice clearly. Okay. So you can observe here, I'll be providing all the notes, diagrams, programs, course content, everything as a soft copy. So when the session is going, you concentrate on what exactly I'm explaining. Okay, when I ask question, you give reply. You need not to write down anything. Okay, so at last I'll give some time to ask your questions. Okay, and every day before starting the session, I'll give 15 to 10 to 15 minutes to clear your last class doubts. Okay, so past class, what is the recent class happened? Okay, for that, if you have any doubts and clarifications, if you want, I'll give that. And even I'll be providing my email ID, Google Classroom Drive, and my Facebook group details to communicate with me. Okay, you can send regular emails. Okay, so there you can ask your questions and all. Okay, you will be clarified with all those things. Okay, so let us start the demo session first. Okay. So before starting the session, let me show course content one time. What exactly we are going to cover in this course. Okay, so this is Spring Boot and microservices. Okay, it's a combined course. Okay, so first, if you want to learn any Spring or Spring Boot programming, okay, the first chapter is core. Okay, that is a base chapter we can also call. If you want to learn advanced Java programming, how core Java is important. That will give some rules, guidelines, okay, how to write a class, how to write a variable, method, how to use like syntax we can call. In the same way, Spring Core is the first important chapter that will give all the rules and guidelines. In the first one, we are going to see some container concept, dependency injection, and inversion of control. And everything, it's an annotation configuration. We have a lot of annotations here. At the rate component, scan at the rate component, value, configuration, bin, like we have a lot of annotations. That's the first chapter. That's the first chapter where we are going to learn major important concepts. And this module, you have to do practice for sure. Not only just listening and leaving, how much good you are in this chapter, that much free you are going to write the programming in the next chapters. Okay, so we have to do practically by taking some dummy classes. You can take something like AB class, M1 method and do practice. Okay, this is very, very important chapter. Okay, so even you get 10 years experience and 20 years experience in the interview, they'll definitely ask questions from this chapter. Okay, because if you are not good in this module, okay, though you are writing very good ultimate programming in some other modules, they'll understand you by hearted something and you are unable to write the coding part. Okay, so this is very important chapter. Okay, this also called as containers, Spring containers and handling of containers here. This chapter completely deals with how to create the objects. Okay, so this is the first chapter. Second, SQL means writing some database operations related code. Finally, if you perform any operation, the result should be stored in the database table. For example, in the Amazon, if you perform any operations like something placing the order, Okay, so you paid some bills, your details will be stored somewhere, that is called database. Okay, with the database, I want to perform the operations by using the concept called ORM, object relational mapping. Okay, so not JDBC. Okay, we use ORM, that is also called Hibernate with JPA. This is only mostly used in real time, Hibernate with JPA. So performing database operations. Okay, lot of people might not be knowing how to write Hibernate programs. Okay, I'll teach here how to write Hibernate programs, and our concept will be data JPA. Chapter number 2, we even call SQL, that is actually data JPA. Okay, how to perform some CRUD operations, means insert, update, delete, and select, pagination and sorting. Okay, and some Hibernate related annotations or JP annotations, whatever you call it. Here we have association mapping, something like one to one, one to many, many to one, many to many, collections mapping, list set map, cascading, fetch type, order, custom queries, transaction management. Like we have multiple options here. There is a second chapter that is called SQL, performing database operations. Okay. Okay, so once we done this one, then next module will be writing web applications, dynamic web applications. Okay, so if you want to write a web application, there is a MVC design, model, view, and controller. You might be knowing some full forms here, MVC. Okay, so web applications, if you want to write, definitely you should have core knowledge and also some additional knowledge like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, not much required. Okay, so there will be having the most important concept called controllers. Okay, majority of the people will ask the interview questions, okay, from controllers. Even our coding will be mostly on controllers. And handling of data. Okay, so that is representing of dynamic data, that is called model. Okay, and of course we'll be having some forms concept, how to create a registration form, login form, and all here. Okay, so here we'll be having some additional concepts even along with that. Okay, so how to do complete UI based pagination, errors handling, some error pages and all we are going to see here. Okay, and the most important chapter nowadays very famous is the REST. Okay, RESTful web services or web services you call, or simply you can call REST. REST means representation state transfer. I'll give the full forms later. Okay, so this is the most important chapter. Okay, majority of the applications nowadays in Spring Boot and microservices will be implemented using this. Okay, so what is HTTP protocol, HTTP methods, JSON data format. Okay, so that is actually writing JSON API. Like we'll be having web service program. Okay, in real time, one application will be connected to another application. For example, you take something like Book My Show application. Okay, so once you select the seat and all, you want to do payment, that will be going to Paytm or ICICI or any gateway credit card. Like one application is connected to another. Okay, that is called integration. What is the concept called? Integration. Okay, so this integration or connection is done by using web services. Okay, this web service actually two types, SOAP and REST. Okay, but REST is the mostly used one. Nowadays, if you want to learn microservice also, RESTful services, REST is an important chapter. Okay, here also mostly we have some annotations, get, post, put, delete, patch, and all here. So database integrations, header parameters, and we have something like a postman, swagger, error and exception handling here. Okay, and testing our application by using JUnit with REST controller. Remember, there will be some unit testing. Testing, we have multiple types that can be implemented. We have multiple types of testing. Okay, so unit testing, integration testing, system testing, performance testing, memory testing, will be having a lot of testing in real time. Okay, in that, your responsibility as a developer, your responsibility when you write the code, you should test in two ways, positive and negative. If you give positive input, proper input, it should give a positive output. If we give some invalid input, it should show some error message. For example, login page is there. If I give valid username and password, it has to go to inbox. If I give invalid username and password, it has to show some error message, invalid credentials. Okay, those two testing should be done by programmer. In the real time, majority of the developers will do only positive testing. Okay, that's actually wrong. Okay, you should do positive testing and also negative testing. Make sure that you have tested almost all the lines of code. That is also called testing and code coverage. The most important thing in real time, Sonar Cube and JUnit will be integrated with the Java. Okay, so we'll see that actually. So next one, log4j concept, not login, it's a logging. It's a different, not login. Login different, logging different. Okay, so suddenly if application is giving any exceptions or problems, if you want to identify what are they, this is used. And the most important chapter is actually microservice. Again, I'm saying you want to work with the microservice, RESTful web service, very important. And you want to learn RESTful web services, okay? Spring Core, that's the core chapter, and SQL chapter are the very important chapters, okay? Database is common concept, okay? So in the microservices, first we are going to see some legacy designs, old designs, that is actually called monolithic. I'm asking a simple question. Everyone can give answer using chart, or else you can mention what is meaning of mono. What is the meaning of mono? Yes, it is actually one, single. Generally, in real time, if you develop any application, that will be given in a single final format, a single jar file or a single var file. Okay, monolithic application keeping all the modules, entire code in a single file. Okay, that is actually called jar file or var file. Okay, so I'll come to show that what are all this. This is actually a simple demo I'm just showing here. That is a jar file or single var file. It's a mono. Okay, monolithic application. Okay, this is also called legacy design. Still, majority of the applications are in monolithic design only. Okay, and later some applications move to SOA architecture, service oriented architecture. Okay, or SOA design you can also call. Then we are going to see, once we understand these two designs, okay, then we are going to see what is microservice architecture. Directly if I explain what is microservice, also will not understand. Okay, I can say simply divide a big project into multiple small projects. A simple definition you want to see, microservice, one big project will be divided into multiple small projects, develop parallelly, deploy parallelly. A simple definition, okay, instead of learning complication. But to understand that, we need to learn a lot of things before. Okay, what is monolithic, currently existed system, drawbacks, okay, what we are getting benefits. Microservice is having lot of benefits and also having few drawbacks there also. Okay, so people will call it's not a silver bullet, means it's not the greatest solution, but it is a good solution. Okay, in interviews, they'll ask even what are the drawbacks of microservices. Okay, the first important thing is actually maintenance. Okay, what is the benefit is actually is performance. Okay, for end user perspective, application will be very fast, easy to use. Okay, deployments will be handled very easily, but developer perspective, maintenance will be very high. Okay, you have to see lot of files and all here. Okay, next, microservice is actually theory, sir. Lot of people will think there's actually programming. No, microservice is a theory. To do programming, there is a concept given Spring Cloud. Okay, Spring Cloud, we can also call it API or programming. In simple words, your understanding words, oops, is that theory or programming? Is oops theory or programming? I'm asking question. Yes, this is theory. So what is a programming? Yeah, principles or theory, whatever you call here. Programming is nothing but Java, .NET, PHP, Python in the same way, right? In the same way, microservices also theory. It's not programming, it's a design, we can also call it. It's a set of rules or a principles. They are saying you develop your application in such a design, okay? That design makes your application better for maintenance wise. Okay, so if you want to do testing wise, deployment wise, performance wise, we'll get a lot of benefits. Okay, that's what actually microservice actually saying here. The coding is actually called Spring Cloud. Okay, before Spring Cloud, what you should learn, that is before microservice, again I mentioned, Spring Core you should learn, Spring REST you should learn. Okay, these two are very, very important. Web MVC, that is optional. Okay, of course, I'll be giving, and also database is important. SQL also important. Okay, so here, okay, so microservice having a lot of concepts. These are actually concepts of microservice: Eureka server, discovery client, load balancer, OpenFin, config server. Okay, and there is a principle called solid principles. Means again, this is also theory. Instead of calling theory, it's a set of standards. Okay, don't write code however you want. Okay, first write some interface, define some common methods, then write some abstract class, define, provide some generic code of all subclasses. Okay, don't use all classes only. Use, okay, interfaces to connect two classes. Like they'll use some set of rules, solid principles. Okay, that rules you have to follow for sure at the time of writing microservice. Okay, now okay, so there is even some other concepts like external config, native config, refresh scope, actuator, admin server, API gateway, circuit breaker, and saga pattern. Okay, if you go to interview, definitely they'll ask these concepts. One is, okay, what is the benefit of microservice architecture? Okay, how it is different from monolithic and SOA? This is a common question. How multiple microservices will communicate with each other? That is called OpenFin. Okay, now I'm not giving any answers. It's just a demo session. I'm just showing what I'm teaching. Okay, now we'll start even class also. Just I'm showing course content. I'll start the session now even. And there is even solid principles. Explain solid principles. Okay, and also explain saga pattern. Okay, this actually called transaction management pattern. Choreographic and orchestration will be there here. Okay, resilience for say. Okay, that is actually handling of some application problems. Okay, these are general concepts. If someone went to do any Spring Boot and microservice interviews, you might have faced few of these questions. Okay, and next important concept is security. One of the most used and general concept. There is a concept called Java Authentication and Authorization Service, JAWS. Java Authentication and Authorization Service. It is having different types of connectivity security programs. Okay, in memory, JDBC, ORM, and all here. Nowadays, mostly asked interview questions for security is token based. JWT, JSON Web Token, not Java. JWT means Java JSON Web Token. Token based security and open authorization. Okay, these two are very famous. I'll show OAuth with a social login, like login with Google. Did you see any time? Login with a Facebook, login with a Google. Okay, login with actually Twitter, GitHub. There will be some options. Okay, so there is actually that is called open authorization. Okay, JWT and OAuth are very famous concepts nowadays. Okay, now I'll show some integrations part. Okay, so we'll be writing some RESTful applications, how to link with Angular projects, React.js projects, some Bootstrap UI design, Apache Kafka. Okay, if you have experience like more than 5 years or 6 years, they'll ask, okay, Kafka and Spark. Some companies will ask mostly Kafka. It has become common point. Kafka has become very common point nowadays. Okay, so here this Apache Kafka is a requirement. Okay, so how to integrate that? Redis cache. Okay, cache programming. Okay, instead of going to every time database, reduce network calls between application and database. Redis cache will be there, and connection pooling, Hikari CP. Okay, these are some integration concepts we see. Okay, and some embedded concepts are there. Embedded means no need to download and install. You can directly use it. Tomcat server, Jetty server, Undertow, H2 database. You need not to download and install at the time of work in the development environment. Okay, that is called embedded coming along with the project. And we'll be having some additional tools. Okay, and some other concepts like Maven, Log4j, Gradle, JUnit with mock, Docker, Kubernetes. Okay, so but Kubernetes will be explained for Spring Boot requirements only. Okay, if you learn only Kubernetes, that takes even 3 to 4 months. Okay, there is a certified Kubernetes developer or architect will be there. Okay, only Kubernetes you can learn and you can get job also. Such a concept it is. We show only how to work with Spring Boot. Okay, Kubernetes has a huge scope. It's a very big one. Okay, even DevOps team also will teach. Even AWS team also will teach. This are just integration. So how to use that we are going to show. ELK, Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana. It is also one of the DevOps tools, but you should have some knowledge here. And GitHub, yes, this is mandatory for developer. Zipkin and Sleuth, that also we are going to see. Distributed tracing, and some bonus concepts we are going to see. Okay, so email, scheduling, cache, Eclipse debugging, Agile and Jira process, real-time concept, Apache Camel basics. Okay, these are the concepts. Okay, these notes, okay, even this recording video, everything will be shared to you. Okay, don't worry about the videos, notes, programs, and you just observe. Listen, every day you do practice. Okay, and let me know. So this is my email ID and even my Facebook group. So this is a course content. At last, I'll share to your email also here. Okay. Okay. Of course, I'll give some bonus concepts even. Okay. So that will be conducted on Sundays with the recordings will be given. Don't worry about that. Okay. Let us start today demo session 1. So this is a course content I just gave overview. Notes also I'll share to you. Just listen. Okay, so let us start from chapter 1. I don't want to waste your time. Directly we'll jump into the concept Spring Core. Okay, what this module says or what this chapter says. This chapter speaks about rules and syntaxes or guidelines, whatever you call here, to work with Spring container. Okay, chapter number 1. That's actually Spring Core. I'll be asking some questions in the middle also. Please listen everyone very carefully. Okay. Prerequisites for this course is core Java. You must have core Java knowledge and some of database concepts and HTML. Okay, this batch duration will be 3 months. I'll answer all your questions at the last. Some people asking questions in the chat. Sure, let me finish some demo session. Then I'll use some time to ask your questions. Let me take a session here. Okay, please cooperate. Okay, so this is the Spring Core chapter 1. In this chapter, what you have to learn mainly, how to work with Spring container. How to work with Spring container. Spring container, okay, so what are the rules that you have to follow? what are the guidelines you have to follow, okay, so that you will get a better output and it is going to give here. Okay, so you may ask, sir, what is Spring Container? Okay, so Spring Container is a predefined Spring program. Itself, it is a Spring program. It's a program, ready-made program. The work of the Spring Container is to handle objects. Handle what? Objects. Okay, I'm asking question to everyone. What is the work of the Spring Container? You can give answer in the chat. Everyone, please involve and give reply. Okay, sitting silent has no meaning. Okay, the what is the use of attending such sessions? Okay, it's actually learning at the time of going the session, handling objects. Okay, so Spring Container, what exactly they will do? Generally, programmer, we write the classes. Okay, in case of core Java and advanced Java, we should create the object, okay, by writing some a is equal to new a, and we should write the code for calling the method, okay, a.m1 like that. But coming to Spring Container, container says, hey programmer, you write the class. Okay, I will find the class, I'll scan your class. Okay, I'll find and load the class. I will create the object. If required, objects will be connected with each other based on your design. Okay, class A needs class B object, class B needs class C object. That is called linking or injection. That is also I'll do. Now you use those. Finally, I'll destroy them when you stop the application. So what is the work of the Spring Container? Find, we can also call it scan. Okay, classes. We don't call classes here. Classes that follow some rules, we actually called Spring Bean. But don't worry, as of now, I did not give what is Spring Bean and all. That's why I'm writing Spring classes. Okay, actually, you have to call find or scan Spring Bean. Step number 2, create object to the find class. Whatever the class, those are find. Create objects. Okay, for example, there is a class found that is actually called DB connection. It's a class found, assumption. Spring Container found a class name called DB connection. First it will find, then it will create the object for DB connection. Okay, next. Then next thing, there is a class A. Class A wants class B object. Just assumption example. B wants C object. C wants D object. Then D object should be created and linked with C object. C object should be linked with B object. B should be linked with A object. That is called injection or linking. Whatever you call it here, link objects. Or we can also call it inject. Okay. So there is a relation that is mostly used, that is called has a relation. In the core Java, you might have listened, is a relation. That is called inheritance. Okay, has a relation, association or aggregation, whatever you call here. Okay, there's actually association as subtypes, aggregation and composition, default aggregation only. Is and has a relations. Okay, next, once objects are created and they are ready, what you can do next here, you can use them. Okay, use wherever you want. By using database connection, you perform some database operation. Okay, by using controller objects, you process some request. So I am giving object, you do operations. So container is saying, hey programmer, don't worry, you write the code, I'll create the object. You use that object, I'll destroy the object. You tell me what are the links, I'll create them. It's like a 50-50. You do one thing, I'll do one thing. Okay, I'll reduce your burden. Okay, finally, at last, when you're done and you want to stop your application, destroy the objects. And of course, even container, Spring Container also destroy. Okay, so these are the basic points. Okay, of course, we'll see practically also. Don't worry, this is just a demo session one I mentioned. Okay, So now look at revising for a second. What Spring Container will do? Find your classes, create the objects, link them in case of multiple objects, that is called inject, okay, which contains has a relation, and finally destroy the objects. Okay, I'm asking questions in the middle, you should give reply. Okay. Okay, of course, in the middle, life cycles of beans will come even. Okay, even some additional things will come. That is also, we are going to see part of some creating objects only. Okay, some people mentioned, sir, where is life cycle beans? Okay, life cycle is a part of creating only. Okay, at the time of destroying, destroy method will be called. At the time of creating, init method will be called. Those I will show later. Okay, now tell me, how many steps are there? Everyone should give reply using chart. How many steps are there? 4. Okay. Okay. What is the first step? Yeah, finding or scanning the classes. Okay. Everyone should give reply. Don't sit silent. Involve, interact. Okay. Here only we'll learn half of the content. And next, after some hours, if you revise the concept, it will become better. And if you do practice, it will become best. Okay. Some people say, sir, actually, I'm unable to remember all the concepts. Very simple. You are not doing practice. Okay. God has given equal brain to everyone. Okay. All are talented in the earth. If someone says, no, sir, I'm not talented. No, yourself, you're making food. You are also talented, but you are not using your brain. That's it. When you don't use your brain, okay. Instead of doing practice, you will be using your mobile more. You'll be wasting your time with your friends. Okay. You will be going to movies. You will sleep more hours. That is the only problem you have. Nothing else. Okay. Everyone is equally talented. Practice makes man perfect. That's okay. Step number 2. What is step number 2? Creating the objects. Exactly. So step number 1, finding the classes, creating the objects. Of course, even some additional steps also will come. Yeah. What is third step? Linking the objects. Exactly. Linking is connecting. Okay, one object will be connected. To link the objects, which relation is required? Linking the objects. That is actually not easy, as a relation required. Easy means inheritance. Okay, some people give easy. No, it's has a association. We can also call it here. Okay, so linking is also called as what? Linking is also called as what? Injecting. That is also called dependency injection. That is a chapter we are going to see even. Okay. What is the final step? Last step? Okay. So what is the general meaning of container? Now you can see here. Container means actually memory cell. Okay. That holds objects. Simple word. Okay. So here, Spring Container will reduce your work. Okay. It says you write the code. Don't worry about objects. I'll take care. You just write the code. I'll take care of objects creation. You just mention the classes. I'll take care of linking them. Okay. You just mention, you use them. Okay. Once your work is done, I'll destroy them. Okay. So that is actually work here. Let me go for next stage. This is Spring Container. Okay. Roshan, you raise the hand. At last, I'll give some time to ask your question. Okay. If you have any questions, I'll give my email ID also. Okay. Some drive details also there you can find and ask your questions even. So let me finish the session. Okay. So Spring Container said, okay, I'll do all these things. Hey, programmer, you should give 2 inputs. Then only I'll do everything. Okay, fine. So what are the inputs? The first one, you have to write a class that follows the rules given by Spring container. Okay, you cannot write however you want. There should be some public class, package statement, okay, private variables, some setters and getters, constructors, Spring annotations. Like they have given some rules. We'll see those. Okay, if you follow the rules and write the class, that's actually called a Spring Bean. A simple definition of Spring Bean I'm just giving. A Spring Bean is a class that follows the rules given by Spring container. Only such classes, objects will be created by Spring container. Second one, okay, you are telling me to create the object, but what is the name of the object? You are telling me to link with the objects, other objects, but which objects? We have to give some additional information. Okay, that is called Spring configuration. Configuration we can write in three ways: XML, Java, and annotation. In that, most important is annotation. So here you can look, there are two inputs we have to provide. This is programmer duty. You should give your inputs, programmer. P. Programmer has to give two inputs. Okay. By taking this input, Spring container will find the classes and take this configuration, create the object, and it will even some provide the data. That is also part of injection, providing the data and linking the objects based on the relations given. Okay, providing the data. Okay, provide ID, name, code, driver, URL, like that, and link the objects. Okay, finally, when you're done, when you're stopping the application, destroy. Finally, destroy. Don't worry, I'll share all these diagrams and notes. You just listen. Okay, so here, now look at the point. Spring container takes two inputs. Okay, one is actually Spring Bean. Okay, it is a class that follows rules given by Spring container. Don't worry, what are those rules? I'll show. Okay, second input, Spring configuration file. Okay, it gives metadata. We can also call, okay, or simply object name, link details. Okay, some data for the files. It is. This we can write in three ways. What are they? XML configuration, Java configuration, annotation configuration. Which one is most important here? Annotation configuration. Okay, that is very important here. Okay. We'll see all the configurations, not to worry, but mostly these two important. Yes, XML also will show few examples. Okay, but these are two very, very important. In Spring Boot, there is no XML configuration, it is removed. But in Spring, it is there. Okay, that's why I mentioned it's a Spring core. Okay, I'll show what is the difference later. Don't worry about that. Okay, now asking question. How many inputs does container take here? What are they? Okay, it will take two things, Spring Bean and Spring configuration file. Okay, now I said container. You remember, I think container also a program. Container also a program. This container is actually two types. Whatever the container you see, okay, it's actually two types. Yeah, two inputs, Spring Bean and Spring configuration. That is correct. Okay, I'm going to next point. Okay, the types of containers is actually two types. One is actually called legacy, old container, and second one is actually new container. Okay, yeah, that is called IOC. I'll come to that. Okay, so the first container is actually called as Bean Factory. Okay, it's an interface. It's called old legacy container. Second one is actually application context. Okay, this is actually new container. No, I still did not start dependency injection. Okay. Yes, these are the two types of the containers. Types of the containers. So what is the major difference here? Lot of difference are there. Major difference is it works only on XML configuration. This is mainly on XML configuration. And application context supports three: XML, Java, and annotation. Major difference. I don't want to confuse you by giving multiple as of now. Okay, major point you remember. Okay, so new container only used in real time as of now. Okay, old containers almost zero. We can also call application context and bean factor. And the most important point, they're actually interfaces. Yes, both are interfaces. Okay. Now the question, can we create object to interface? So it's not possible. So we need implementation. So there is an implementation for this XML bean factor. And for this, we have a multiple class path XML application context. This is one implementation. Of course, there are a lot of implementations. File system, XML application context, annotation config, application context. Like we have a lot. So many of them. Dot, dot. Need not remember those names now. Just remember they are interfaces. Okay. So these are the interfaces. We cannot create the object. We can create only references. Okay. This is an old container and this is a new container. Okay. So here you can see this is Spring Bean. There are two types of containers given by Spring framework. Okay. The first one is actually Bean Factory. That is interface. It supports only XML configuration. It has one IMPL implementation class. IMPL is remember. Okay, that is XML Bean Factory. Okay, it is also called as legacy container. I think you know what is the meaning of legacy. Exactly. Okay. Second one is actually application context. It is also interface. It supports okay all configurations, annotation. Okay, it has multiple IMPL classes. Okay, example if you want. You need not remember all these names, don't worry. At the time of coding, we'll see. Even abstract annotation, config, application context. We have so many here. Okay, so these are the different we have. So this is about just some basic point about Spring Bean and container here. Okay, so I just want to work with a container and I want to write the program. Okay, when you start learning of Java, there is a concept called OOPS, object-oriented programming, encapsulation, polymorphism, inheritance, okay, abstraction. You have learned those theory, right? In the same way, here also, I just want to start learning of this concept. Okay, there is a concept called injection mainly. Okay, that is a full name that is actually called dependency injection and IOC, inversion of control. That is actually called DI versus IOC. Very simple point. DI is a programming. IOC means Spring container. Okay, sorry. DI means theory. IOC means Spring container. Okay, that we are going to see. Okay, in the next session. Okay, so this is just a demo session. I just mentioned here. In this demo session, I have shown course content. What is the course content? I'll cover. Okay, and we started Spring Core as a first chapter basic. Okay, and let me give few points before you ask questions. You want to learn this course, what is the prerequisites? You must have core Java knowledge. Basics of SQLs, need not to be expert. Core Java must be good. How to write string operations. Okay, something like length method to uppercase to or lowercase. Using of arrays basics. Okay, try catch blocks, exception handling. Okay, no need to have multi-threading expert knowledge. Minimum sufficient, but with some good knowledge and collection. Okay, what is list, what is set, what is map, some basic knowledge required. That's a prerequisites. And duration of this course is actually 3 months. Every day 1 hour 30 minute session will be taken. Okay, so all the notes, documents, images, recordings will be given. Okay, that is complete soft copies are provided. Daily notes, daily videos, everything, programs, everything will be provided soft copy. For that you have to approach to admin, Ashok IT admin. Okay, so admin will provide everything here. Okay, so payment details I'm also not sure, I'll confirm tomorrow. Okay, how much payment it is and all here. Yeah, recordings provided here. Okay, that you have to communicate with admin team. Okay, you have to show your pay slip, payment slip and all. Okay, then they will give the recordings and all. Complete notes, images. Okay, all the files, recordings, everything you will be shared by Ashok IT admin only. Directly I can't share. Okay, so day to day support will be given, question and answers. Okay, in the starting 5 minutes and at the ending 10 minutes I'll give support. And also please note down my email ID, javabyRaghu@gmail.com. You can send all your questions there. And mostly day after tomorrow I'll share Google Drive link. Okay, in the Google Drive link you will find everything. Okay, separate link, you will find notes, image, recordings. Okay, programs. Okay, you can ask your questions. You can see others asked questions. If someone asks the question, I'll give answers there. Okay, drive link will be given here. Okay, so this is important. So what we are covering here, I'll be covering even Hibernate also additionally. Okay, Spring Core even, and some tools also given. I think you have seen the course content. In the starting, I explained course content only. If someone miss this course content, I'll share to you even. Just 1 second for everyone. I'll upload here also even. Yeah, I'll be teaching complete microservices. You can see here. Okay. Okay. Class will be taken Monday to Saturday. Sunday, I'll be taking some tools. Okay. Session will be conducted from Monday to Saturday. Some Sundays also I'll give some sessions. Okay, you will get recordings to your email that in the drive will get. Okay, so that is tools will be taken mostly. Some tools will be there. Okay, so this is actually Spring Boot microservices. Okay, with RESTful web services included. Okay, microservice means web service also will come. No need to ask separately here. Okay, yeah, timing will be every day. Okay, 7:30, sorry, 7 a.m. to sharp 7 a.m. I'll start. Please join bit early up to 8:30, but not demo sessions. Demos will be conducted for 1 hour only. Okay, even tomorrow, one more demo will be there. Then we'll start original classes. Okay, one more demo. Okay, regular sessions will be 1.5 hours. Okay, so thank you everyone. If you have any questions, you can be in the session, or else you can leave from the session. Okay, so continuation, we'll see in tomorrow's class. Project batches, once I start, I'll let you know. Okay, Rahul, servlets and JDBC not required here, but if you want, you can learn from other batches. Okay, Bhagya Lakshmi, you will get the payment details through your email. Yeah, so the recordings will be shared by admin once you do payment. Okay, demos will be shared to you directly. Demos recordings also given in the YouTube also. Payment details, Kiran, I'll share tomorrow. Still, I too did not get complete information. Yeah, Ramya, this is even Spring also. Okay, that is actually with Spring Boot structure we are going to see here. Okay, HTML basic knowledge required. Yes, TTO design patterns also covered. Ayushri. Nitin, JSP not required. Better if someone wants to learn UI technology, I prefer React JS or Angular. Anything is fine. Instead of learning JSP and all, don't waste your time. Okay, better you directly go to some UI technology classes or take full stack. That's better. Okay. Yeah, Vishal, already you enrolled here. That's why you are able to see this session. Okay. Yeah, Netaji, I'll show STS that includes Eclipse and also IntelliJ IDE. 3 I'm going to show here. Yeah, Kiran, 3 months required to become expert and to give perfect subject. No, Krishna, only one batch is going as of now. Hemant, core Java knowledge is must. That is sufficient. Remaining, whatever I teach, you will learn. Alam, you can learn front-end technologies. Wait for a few days. I'll inform those batches also. Yeah, I'll only start. Sunday 2 session recordings also given in the Ashok IT YouTube account. Evening no batches, Srilata. Okay, only morning batches only. Yeah, Akash, JWT live session will be given. Yeah, Ravi, microservices theory, Spring Cloud means programming. I think you joined late. Yeah, Rahul, sure, definitely you can. Okay. Atul, to learn this project, to learn this course, not required, but project batch, I'll let you know. By the time you will be knowing this. Yeah, real-time project, if it started, I'll let you know here. Yeah, this is Spring Boot and microservice with a Spring Cloud. Yeah, Spring Cloud also covers. Spring Cloud means microservice. Microservice theory, Spring Cloud is a programming. Yeah, REST means this theory Spring REST means programming, sir. Akash, project batches once it start, definitely I'll let you know. Just wait for some days. Yeah, we are going to write latest programs only, Rakesh. We can't write old. In Spring Boot, you can't write old programs. You have to write latest only. Yeah, project batch, if it started, I'll definitely let you know. Don't worry about that. You don't think about that. Okay. Shankar Tiwari, if you want DevOps, please communicate with admin team. They will give some DevOps related information. Okay. So DevOps means after development, you have to send your application to deployment, means cloud. There will be some tools used, building tool, deployment tool, pipeline tool, configuration tool, maintaining tool, like after development. Some tools required, that is called DevOps. Shuhil, weekends will be having only tools. Supriya, sure, I'll update. Hemant, the difference I'll show once we start actual classes. What is the difference between Spring, Spring Boot, and Spring Cloud and Spring Core? Okay, today I can say Spring Core is nothing but basics of Spring, means all the rules and guidelines. Spring Boot means writing web programming and REST. Spring Cloud means microservices. Bhagya once we start, we'll let you know. Yeah, session will be conducted from Monday to Saturday. Yeah, Hibernate also explained in this, that is called data JPA. You need not learn anything separately. Okay. So please note on my email ID, everyone, javabyragu@gmail.com. You can send all your doubts, questions there also even. Okay. Thank you for session. We'll see the continuation in tomorrow's class.